high cross. Oh, look at that. Fireman carries suplex. 1, 2. Oh, 2.
It prohibits Jason Static from going near Canoes.
He's just tempting him. Jason Static might just pick one up from the ground and eat it. Anton, he always makes a mess here at Victory Pro. Jason Static stalking him. Reaper tries to sneak up behind him, but Jason Static well aware of his surroundings. He's from New York. Oh, he rolls him right into the referee. Oh, the referee might be hurt. The referee might be ready to. He's a good shot block. Oh no, we got that tray. We've seen what that tray. Oh my God! Oh my gosh, he hit it with the tray, the glass tray. Got him in the chronic crossface. That's how he wakes him up. Chronic crossface, Jason Static, he might be knocked out cold. No, this is unfair. Oh no, he got one. No. No, 2, no. Oh no. Reaper wins.
These fans are not happy here.
Oh, come on. No, Don Tony does it again. Don Tony with the acquisition.
These men are from Howard Beach.
You're right. Both from Howard Beach. They got the connection. They're from around the block. Oh my goodness, what a night of action. Grim Reaper team. We saw some great high-flying action from that triple threat that stole the show. The Reign, Javier, and Sabotage, opening match, Papa Don, Richie Tyler. This is so much. This is what Victory Pro is all about. Wow, thank you, Dan. I am Lawrence LC Queens Cross.
I am Earl McMuffin.
Or McMiz. So long, man. Have a good rest.
Fuck you!
Every Thursday night, you ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
It's Q&A with Don Tony. This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don Tony. And now, your host, Don Tony. Don Tony. Don Tony.
Good evening, everybody. Hey, it's Christmas in less than 2 days, day and a half. I am up here for Thursday night, December 23rd, 2021. Welcome to the Q&A live stream. Big shout out to everybody who is joining me live, whether it is YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. No Twitch tonight, too lazy to connect the server. But I was not too lazy to finally get off my ass and upload that almost 30-year-old Jersey Shore camping video that I've always talked about for years and years and years. Yes, you know what? I would be not, this is Danhausen, I would be Donhausen. I'm Donhausen. Yeah, I like the guy. I mean, you know, the character, the gimmick, it's very creative. He's not bad in the ring. And, you know, it's the Christmas colors, too. It's Christmas colors. So, yeah, he's good. He's good. But I like Danhausen. I don't think I can impersonate him. So, anyway, AEW Dynamite did slightly over 1 million viewers, which is very good. You know, there's a lot of people that will say that, oh, it was because of the Kyle O'Reilly appearance. You know, I appreciate everybody who tuned into yesterday's show, and I praised the crap out of it. I feel like I got fingerprints on my glasses, but I praised the crap out of it. But we also kept it in perspective, you know, and cute with all of those shows that tune into my show. And look, I always say I don't mind it, but it is funny. There's a group of people that absolutely will never give me credit for bringing out points. There was a couple of shows that were tuning in yesterday, and I pointed out that, remember, the Undisputed Era was formed while Triple H was at the helm. The Undisputed Era storyline, where they broke up, was while Triple H was at the helm. So you can't turn around and say that Vince and Bruce Pritchard is responsible for this one. And, you know, I appreciate everybody who took note of that yesterday. And today, you know, a couple of those people, you know, trying to come off like geniuses, like, hey, everybody should remember this. Everybody. Well, you know what? If you remembered that, how come you did not remember the AEW Code of Conduct? And I will take questions from the live chat in a moment, but I definitely want to just put an exclamation point on what we talked about yesterday with Nyla Rose and that transphobic, I don't even call him a fan. You know, last night when I was trying to come up with the title for the show, you know, the subject, you know, I know a lot of people are writing fan ejected from AEW. And then I wrote fan. I said, no, that's not a fan. I said, do I put patron? Do I put attendee? Do I put POS? Which doesn't mean point of sale. It means piece of shit. Or do we just put moron, idiot, matarazzo, goof? Jackoff got ejected yesterday. And tonight, or even today, I see all these people, you know, that don't chime in on this, other than they want to give their opinions on it, and they have every right to. But let me remind everybody something that's very important. Jim Cornette right now is going through a lot of hot water online because of his tweet. I don't have it in front of me, but he said something like, back in the day, you know, fans would get ejected for getting violent or throwing garbage or throwing debris. You know, said something like that. Like today, now you get ejected for freedom of speech. Or better yet, he was talking about heels in wrestling, that you trigger, you know, some hard responses. And then you got people that are looking at every wrestler in the past that was harassed by fans and this and that. Some people bringing up Sonny, some people bringing up others. But, you know, this all comes back to something that we talked about earlier in 2021. And it was a big news story. And I can guarantee you, everybody online that is talking about freedom of speech and talking about this, talking about that, you know, they knew earlier this year about the AEW fan code of conduct. And in case you need a little refresher, which I don't blame you, I'm going to show it to you once again. At every AEW live event, and WWE has one very similar, AEW posts, and sometimes they will go on the microphone and they will read this to fans. The AEW fan code of conduct: obscene or offensive gestures, signage, or clothing, including the use of such language or gestures concerning a person's race, ethnicity, color, gender, religion, creed, disability, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, or national origin, or to instigate, incite, or encourage a confrontation of physical assault. And it goes on and on and on. This is posted at every event. This has been around for a while. None of these people today talking about, wow, freedom. And look, I am 100% in agreement with everyone that says it's not just freedom of speech that you like, it's freedom of speech that you don't like. And I'm not saying that guy did not have any freedom of speech to be an asshole. Sure he does. But you see, this is the AEW Code of Conduct. And the AEW Code of Conduct says very clearly, if you bring a sign and you're making fun of someone's gender or identity, amongst a bunch of other things, you will be ejected. What's the argument? There should be no argument. Where was all the bitching and complaining when this was circulating in the earlier parts of 2021? There is no controversy here. There is none. The guy yesterday was sitting front row, ringside, first row, brought a horrible sign. And yes, Nyla Rose is a heel, and yes, she's going to trigger hate from fans. But this guy knew going into it what the deal was. And when he showed up there right before the show and they plaster it on the screen, he still had a chance to say, uh-oh, I didn't know about this fan code of conduct, or bring it home. No, he chose to pick it up, proudly display it, and he got ejected for it. There is no controversy. I don't need to tweet. I didn't tweet once about it. I gave my thoughts yesterday because several of you asked my thoughts on it. And I just wanted to pull the AEW fan code of conduct. And remember, WWE has one just like it. Just like it. So get used to it. There's no controversy. And Jim Cornette should have known a little better, because that fan code of conduct is been talked about quite a bit. Him and Brian Last, I don't know if they ever talked about it, but it's out there, and this was in the first two sentences. There's two signs. I displayed it just now for our video friends. There's two signs. It goes into a whole bunch of things. So what changed? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. It's just that some people out there wanted to make it about themselves. But it's not a controversy. Shouldn't have happened in the first place. Nyla Rose was very professional about it. You had some people on social media that were absolute assholes. And that's it. That's it. 1-4 podcast. What means Paisan? It's like a friend. Hey, Paisan, how you doing? Oh my God. Hopefully I don't bore you later. I have some video that I mentioned earlier, the Jersey Shore stuff. I edited it down. I had 30 minutes of footage, and I said, there's no way I'm going to make everybody sit through 30 minutes. I chopped it down to about 15. And this is of yours truly from Memorial Day weekend, 1995. Now, I won't show the bird footage today, but something interesting with my bird, my African gray that you all know about, Freddie. I found video in the last 24 hours of my bird from 2 days before Memorial Day weekend, 1995, and he was fully grown. I always thought he was born in 95. Now I'm convinced he was born in either 93 or 94. I'm pretty sure 94, which means my bird next year is going to be 28 years old. 28 years old. So, I'm sorry for, going on a little bit of a rant with the Nyla Rose stuff, but it should not have been any confusion here. Every AEW event, those signs are put up, and we all talked about it. You know, there's no way that many people online, you know, somehow fell asleep for those 5 days that we talked about it earlier this year. They just, I don't know. Some, I think, just wanted to make it about themselves. Some other people wanted to challenge freedom of speech. You know, this is concerts, sporting events. They all have code of conduct. And trust me, a lot of sporting events do not tolerate that shit either. So it was messed up what happened yesterday, but there's no controversy about it. That moron deserved to be ejected. And you know what? Maybe that will send the message, you know, to others. Now, I don't know if that fan, whatever you want to call him, got ejected last week with the COVID stuff with Vince. You know, if you really think about it, it may not fall into that, but that was just really low class. At minimum, I would have just taken the sign away. I don't know if I would have. I don't think I would have ejected the fan last week. I would have taken the sign away. And if the fan, you know, got a little bit problematic about it, then I would boot his ass. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you in the chat, and I'm going to show you some vintage video, which I think you will get some heavy-duty laughs from. You get to see a little bit of my personal life back in the mid-'90s. And when I always said me and my friends were Jersey Shore well before Jersey Shore ever existed, I truly believe after tonight's episode, you will say, DT, you know, Jersey Shore ain't got nothing on you guys and gals, because you'll see some pretty hot women tonight on the show too. For anybody out there that's into women, I think you'll really enjoy it. But first, obviously, we would have to get into this. Sal, Merry Christmas, DT. 50 spot. Can't stick around right now, but he will check out the replay. Cheers, pal. Merry Christmas, my friend. Thank you for all your support. Every single one of you out there, thank you for your support. You know, I know for a lot of you out there, just like me, we're not in the Christmas spirit. I'm not feeling it this year. But I will tell you, tomorrow and Saturday and part of Sunday is going to be very, very important for me to spend it with my family. Under the circumstances, you know, even more of a reason that tomorrow is never guaranteed. For all of you out there, if you're close with your family and you feel it's safe enough to spend the holidays with them, you know, don't pass it up, really. Because one thing that I vowed that I would never do, I will never be one of those people, if one of my parents passed, and then for the rest of my life, I have to say to myself, if I only spent more time with them. I felt so horrible for The Rock when Rocky Johnson passed. But you got to remember, you know, The Rock is a celebrity and he's touring and doing movies and he's always on the road. For us, it's different. You know, we're just everyday people, so we can see our families a lot more. But to hear him say, I wish I could just hold him one more time, say goodbye, or just talk to him. You know, I don't ever want to be in that position. So, you know, Christmas this year, I'm not feeling it. But maybe once I'm with my family, you know, I'm going to start feeling it. So, but thank you, Sal, again for that. It's very kind of you. Casey is raw, very kind of you as well, my friend. He usually agrees with my views and been watching my content for years. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Casey, for the 5 spot. I appreciate that. You know, like I said, I'm always straight up honest. You know, even if you take note of my synopsis yesterday, and yes, I left my notes inside, so I didn't do timestamps, but, you know, even when I make my description, you know, I realize that I could use catchy words, even with the Kyle O'Reilly signing. You know, I could have elaborated a little bit more, you know, reminding everyone about the Triple H factor, keeping it in perspective. Kyle O'Reilly signing is really for one major storyline. and some fun matches as well, but it's really for one major storyline. That's why I wonder if Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly's contracts might be a little bit shorter than Adam Cole's. It's dead serious when I say that. Greg in Brooklyn says Rocky Johnson may very well have been one of the early COVID deaths. Oh, sure, but still, we're talking about spending time with family. We're not talking about cause of death. So, it's just, I don't ever want to be in that situation. My father, I know my father feels this a little bit. I would never talk to him about it, but my grandmother, she passed, on my father's side, she passed in I would say probably late 90s, maybe early 2000s, might think more early 2000s, and she had cancer. And he would talk to her on the phone quite often, but didn't go and see her in person that much. And then when she passed, I know my father was very regretful, wishing that he spent more time with her, at her bedside. But that's just, I felt terrible for The Rock. I feel terrible for anybody that goes through that. So, thank you, Casey, once again. And like I said, if I have to sacrifice like more viewers because I don't make the catchy comments or the titles or anything, that's fine. That's fine. As long as everybody that tunes in, gets straight up honesty. And I'm not perfect and I'm not right all the time. I give you my thoughts and my opinions on it. And, where they end up, they end up. And the reason why I know what we talk about is always insanely accurate is because the best that someone could do in 2021 is say, oh, DT, what happened with the Bearcat character? Like, wait, oh, what happened with Scarlett? She was supposed to come back and she was supposed to straighten out Karrion Kross and end his losing streak. Well, that actually ended up being true. You heard it from his mouth himself. WWE just had to change of plans. She was always set up to return as a manager. You remember all those people that were reporting that Scarlett, they were separating them so she could wrestle? It was never the case. We never talked about that either. WWE changes their mind more than a baby changes diapers. Changing minds is one thing. Reporting falsities is another. How many places last week were reporting that Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly, it appears, will likely stay with WWE. Again, the LY word. Anybody that uses an LY word, it's their way of saying to you, we don't know the truth. We're guessing. So we put something with an LI. Reportedly, likely, possibly. That's what they do. Anytime you read a news article, seriously, it doesn't have to just be wrestling. Anytime you read a news article, if they use words that end in LY, they're not reporting news. They're reporting guesses or assumptions. You see, now some people are saying, the climate is that Johnny Gargano will likely sign with AEW and debut in Cleveland. What the fuck is that based on? Anyway. Thank you, Casey. Again. Dennis Slusher II. Hey, DT. Have I ever been approached by any major promotions as a commentator or anything of the sort? Because he believes I would be awesome at it. All right, this is the truth. I did commentating once for Frank Goodman's USA Pro Wrestling. This must have been around 2005. No, earlier than that. 03, 04, because I wasn't doing anything on camera yet. 03 or 04. I will tell you with almost 100% certainty that the reason why the event never went on home video is because my commentary was the worst, piss poor, pathetic. You would have thought that I was a Make-A-Wish, and I'm not trying to make fun of Make-A-Wish, I'm not doing that, but you could have swore that I was a Make-A-Wish kid, and my wish was to commentate a pro wrestling event. I had no business doing it. I farted, shitted, I just verbally, it was a disaster. It was garbage. It was awful. Now, again, granted, if you listen to my hotline reports from 2002 to 2004, even go back from the 90s to 2004, I am nothing the way I am now. I mean, I'm not funny. I'm, methodic, mechanical. And when I tried to crack jokes, they just would always fail. I would do the tongue-in-cheek humor, and that would fail. It was awful. And I am convinced to this day that wrestling event never, because Mass Maniac always sold videotapes of his events to make money. Even if he made a small amount of money, he'd rather make some money than no money, which is the right mindset. That video never went on sale. And I'm convinced it's because of the commentary. It's not like they could have, you got to understand something. In the indie pro wrestling world, they don't have these extravagant mix boards where the commentary is on one channel and the wrestling noise is on another channel and the crowds is on another channel where you could kind of mute the commentary channel and just splice in new commentary later on. It was all on one channel. It was in a firehouse. So there was no way to dub over the commentary. No, other than that, no promotion has ever approached me about doing commentary. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I would want to do it. I think I would be disrespecting the wrestlers if I didn't know every single move that they did. Bringing up history and, being a color. Yeah, I could do that. Color commentary, I could do that. Being, like a little bit, of like the ying's yang, like the Bobby Heenan, like someone who's a little bit more sarcastic or derogatory. Sure, I could do that. But honestly, I think I would be disrespecting the wrestlers. So no, I don't think I would ever do it. Seriously. So it's not about doing homework. It's just, you have to think right on the spot. That's why, believe it or not, even though a lot of people will make fun of Excalibur, I will tell you, I am very impressed with Excalibur's work. Sometimes he'll invent a new name for a wrestling move, but it sounds like it makes sense, so you go with it. But he actually knows a huge number of moves, and he nails it. My favorite of all time was Joey Styles. Joey Styles would just nail it with the moves every time. Sure, the roster was a lot smaller, so the move sets, were easier to learn. But that guy just flowed. He knew it, and he was great at it. Joey Styles will always be my favorite as far as with the move set. Not saying that others like Gordon Soley and Gorilla Monsoon and other commentators didn't know the moves. I'm not saying that at all. But Joey Styles just had a talent with that. And he would not only know the moves, he would know other wrestlers that were absolutely famous for it. Or if a current ECW wrestler or even WWE, when he was there too, got it from a specific other wrestler, he would bring that up. He was really, really good, man. Oh yeah, no, I'm better, Harris. I am definitely better than Art Donovan. Oh my God, Art Donovan. I think I did it in awards a while back. He's the worst commentator. No, Rob Bartlett was bad. See, Art Donovan was a guest. It's not like he was trying to do it as a part-time job. He was a guest. Rob Bartlett, who did the early episodes of Monday Night Raw with Macho Man and Vince McMahon. Rob Bartlett was horrendous. And Rob Bartlett was a local DJ personality here in New York. We didn't like him before he tried to do commentary for Raw. Any of you out there that never saw the early year of Raw, look at Rob Bartlett. See, Corey Graves will use references of today's sports, maybe even a political reference once in a while. And 5-10 years from now, that reference will be outdated. But Corey Graves is very, very smart because Corey Graves uses references that even though they would be outdated, especially with politics, even though they would be outdated 10 years from now, he uses names that will still be identifiable. Like Andrew Cuomo. He made a joke very recently and mentioned Andrew Cuomo. Now, 10 years from now, Andrew Cuomo's not going to be relevant, but he will always go down in infamy of, what he did as governor of New York, in different ways. But Rob Bartlett would use references of athletes that, other than New York, most people would not really recognize all that much. And I always remember Vince McMahon, and I'm not kidding. If I have to put up examples, I will. I always remember Vince McMahon in response to when Rob Bartlett would put a very, very, very regional joke, and it was mostly New York because that's where they would do the shows, the Manhattan Center, WWE, WWF. But I always remember Vince in response to a Rob Bartlett joke with a very regional player or personality, Vince would go, ha, 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 ha. And if you read between the lines, it's like, fucking idiot. Don't do those regional, ha, ha, ha. Like it sounded like he was laughing on, it was such a fake laugh. And you could tell he's faking the laugh, trying to make it come off that what Rob said was funny. But I guarantee you Vince was just chewing. I mean, just pissed off, man. Rob Bartlett was horrendous. Mike Adamle should have never been put in that position. He was the GM, wasn't really a commentator. But who was the guy earlier this year with Raw? They wanted to have Adnan Virk. Adnan Virk. I remember doing an episode earlier this year, and I said, look, everybody, I checked out Adnan Virk on a sports show, and he came off so flowing and so good that you could tell that the pressure with WWE was so on his shoulders that it really hurt his chances of ever succeeding there. Virk was not good. But I always felt Virk deserved a chance, and I think we all gave him a chance. But Adnan Virk was not cut out for it, not for WWE. The funny thing is, if you ever check out Adnan Virk on the MLB network or him doing commentary on a sports game, you'd be like, this is the same guy? Huh? Virk should be very lucky that he didn't have live fans there. Now, don't get me wrong. The live fans can't hear what he's saying, obviously. But just to have that presence of thousands of live fans in attendance as well, that might be a little bit intimidating for him, even more. So I like Jimmy Smith, Eddie. I think Jimmy Smith is doing a very good job. You know what's great about Jimmy Smith? He is matter of fact. And what I mean by that is he's part of the commentating team. He just adds a little bit, doesn't try to overdo it, doesn't try to he is pulled back a little bit as well. He's letting Corey Graves be the one that really shine with the commentary. And Saxton bounces off Corey Graves more than anybody. And Jimmy Smith is basically the one in the middle. Like if you had a tug of war game and you have that like rope in the middle that you could tell who wins the tug of war, you have Corey Graves on this side, Saxton on this side, and Jimmy Smith is right in the middle. Jimmy Smith is doing an excellent job. I have no problems with Jimmy Smith. Michael Cole, I've always praised Michael Cole. Didn't like the wrestling storylines, the Jerry Lawler stuff. Didn't never like that at all, but I always liked Michael Cole. I always felt that Michael Cole is, and he's getting more respect now. He's getting a lot more respect now. But there was a good 10-year period where people just kept crapping on Michael Cole. And I'm like, he's not that bad. You know, I mean, he's force-fed lines from WWE. He's force-fed a lot of stuff. You know, and it got a little annoying after a while. It's the big dog. Ugh. Oh. Are we just like going through the whole list of commentators? No, I don't mind. It's Christmas. We're just chilling, relaxing, show you some goofy video in a moment. Don West, I've said this before. I hated Don West as an NWA TNA commentator. My hatred for Don West goes way before NWA TNA. When he was doing the shop at home stuff, me and my friends were stupid enough to buy some of his items that he would sell. And I always told the story that when he used to sell late at night for shop at home, it was normally sports cards, and I think sometimes he would be part of the knives. They would always sell like custom knives and everything. But he would lie. He would lie on those shows. And, you know, we only have 3 left. And then you call the automated line for shop at home and you type in the item number. How many would you like? And I would type in 60 just to see, you know, like what it would say. Because if he says on TV, we only have 3 left, you know, and then you type in 60 and it says that'll be $18,265. How would you like to pay? You realize he's full of shit. The worst one of them all was when, and I've told this story before, one night on Shop at Home, they were selling uncut sheets of baseball cards. Now, look, he will always be known with Shop at Home for the Mark McGuire Olympic baseball card and the Barry Bonds rookie. And I've joked about that before. I don't know if I could do it because I have to like really get enough air in here. But he would like Barry Bonds. This was before everything collapsed for Barry Bonds. He would go up there and he'd put it on the screen and be like, Barry Bonds, everyone, Barry Bonds, Barry Bonds. He will always be known for the McGuire and the Barry Bonds cards. But one night he came up and they had an uncut sheet of cards. And the guy actually said that if you get the uncut sheet, you could cut them into cards. And you could have them perfectly centered. And you could send them out to be graded. That's fraud. That is freaking fraud. If anybody ever goes on eBay and you look up vintage baseball cards and you look up at a card that's a PSA 7, then you look at one as a PSA 10, the difference might be $45 to $3,000. And he's telling her, you can buy the cards, you can cut them, and then send them in. You fucking fraud. So I hated the motherfucker before he went to NWA TNA. After a while, I was like, oh my God, he's actually pretty freaking good. And I never really realized how good he was until I did the history episodes. Because I would play some audio clips of some vintage matches in TNA, and I couldn't put the full match because I didn't want any copyright issues, but I would try to find a spot where Don West and Mike Tenay would just shut the fuck up for a few seconds. And then I would just stop it there, or if I was editing a match down, trying to condense it, I would try to look for pauses to pull parts out. And more times than not, they would never stop for air during these matches. And although I was never a fan of Mike Tenay, these two guys knew when to bounce off of each other. They never really overtalked each other. And for a guy that never did it, you know, for wrestling on a regular basis, then do that in TNA, Don West gets a lot of respect from me. I am a Don West fan, and I've said that before he got cancer. So it's not that I'm doing it out of sympathy right now because he recently battled cancer. I am a Don West fan. He is very underappreciated as a commentator. Very underappreciated. So, now, just to let you all know. Oh, by the way, you know that I was approached by Foco, you know, with the bobbleheads, the Foco. Remember the Bray Wyatt one? Well, that's what sparked Foco to get in touch with me. We would like to do some work for us. So I said, yeah. So the Undertaker Kane that we talked about it a few weeks ago, that's not going to be on sale until I think April. But they're going to be sending me a few to give away on the shows. And they contacted me again yesterday. And they said, hey, DT, thank you, you know, for all the plugs for The Undertaker and Kane. We got another one that we'd love for you to plug. And once it's available, we're going to send you a bunch to give away. And I don't even know if anybody out there has even talked about this yet. But the next Foco that is going to be coming out is this one. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. I think that's pretty freaking cool. Look at that. The center looks a lot like the Bray Wyatt one because of the stage. But I think that looks pretty damn sweet. Obviously, I don't expect the pyro. I don't even think how you can have that pyro on the sides. I tell you, whoever did that looks pretty nice. I mean, I know that they have like some digital ones that look like it's pyro, but it's not. But man, that looks pretty freaking cool. That is pretty freaking cool. So yeah, so I will be unboxing that as soon as I get it, and we will give a few away on the shows. And I want to thank Foco again. That was awesome. You know, I've been approached. I want to make this clear. I've been approached by a few companies to plug items. But for me, I only want to plug items that I like or would use. You know, I mean, even the standard ones that everybody plugs, like Audible or razor blades or like deodorant for your crotch. You know, we've all Blue Chew. Like, we've all been approached with that stuff. But for me, Clark Hermann, welcome to the family, Clark. Much love. I'm sticking to, yeah, there we go. Much love. Welcome. Unless I use a product on a regular basis or I like it, I'm not plugging it. You know, so the Focos, you know, I was so impressed with the Bray Wyatt one. And they didn't approach me then. I plugged that Bray Wyatt one. In fact, we got to start giving some more away because I got like 7 or 8 of them just in boxes. You know what I made the mistake of doing? I'm going to show you right now. What I made the mistake of doing was this. I took a lot of the Bray Wyatt Funhouse gift boxes, you know, those special themes that they did, and the Focos, and I sealed them in boxes. I figured this way, when I want to ship them, they're already sealed. I just put a label on it and send it out. The problem is I use the same size shipping boxes for each one. So now I can't figure out what is inside each one. And I put them on scales to see, well, maybe this weighs heavier than this. And so now I got to open all the boxes again to see what the hell's in what. So, you know what was funny today? I'm not exchanging Christmas gifts this year with my family and with her family because I'm trying to put money together to pay off the wedding, pay off my wedding that's going to take place in September. But, you know, I said that I was going to still give my postman, my doctor, my maintenance guy, you know, that does the complex here. Like, I can't not give them something. You know, so I forgot my postman's name. So I just put in a card to the number one postman and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I said, Merry Christmas. I put my name on it and I sealed the card. So I don't know when he delivers my mail. So I happened to be home for lunch today, and I heard some commotion in the hallway in my building. I look outside the window, and it's the postman, and he's walking away from the house. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'm going to be at the parents' house till Sunday. So I open up my window, and I freaking forgot his name. So I yelled out the window to try to like get his attention, and there were other people outside. So I just yelled out the window, and I just like, what do I say? And I just went, "Hey, Rubio." And he turned around, and I said, "Oh, come here, I got something for you." And he came over, and he didn't say anything like, "My name is George," or whatever his name is. I just mumbled something. I just yelled out the window. I said, "Hey, Rubio! 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 Hey, Rubio!" I sound like somebody that has some type of illness. "Hey, Rubio!" I keep doing it. I'll sound like Don West. "Rubio!" Yeah, so I gave him a card today. So it's a little awkward to not give out gifts. I mean, I got cards for all my relatives, and all those bottles of alcohol from the other day, yeah, I'm going to give them bottles, but they all know that I got them as gifts from customers. They know I'm not spending anything. If I were to spell the name that I said, it was probably like Rorillally. Really? Really? So with the camping videos, I told all of you that I had video of me on various camping trips with my friends where we would hike into the mountains and we would haze each other sometimes. Yesterday I was telling the story that we had the cup of soup and we wouldn't let my friend sleep for 2 days and we were just blasting it in his ear. Well, I have that tape and I have a sneak preview, but we're not going to air that for a few weeks because it's a 2-hour video and I want to edit it down to just like the highlights that you'll get a kick out of. But I have a little sample of it now that I'm going to show you. And in it is a little bit of the hazing. What's not in it is me giving the cigarette to the seagull. It was not lit, but yeah, for people that don't know the story, this was like 1993. I was fishing with my friend, and seagull came over, swam with his ass, swam over to me. I had some pretzels. I think I had a sandwich, and I threw a couple of pretzels in the water, and the seagull's eating it. Big seagull, like this, and I have it on video. And trust me, I'm not going to get in trouble for it. So then I took the pretzel and I put it in my mouth. This is a seagull that just walked by. And it's the cutest thing. The seagull goes up to my mouth and pulls the pretzel out of my mouth. It was like cute. So then I did it with a piece of ham. And if anybody's ever put a piece of ham in their mouth, it doesn't stay erect. It'll just flop down like a tongue. I put the piece of ham, and the seagull kept trying to take the ham and couldn't get it because it kept falling out. So I just threw it in the water. So then I went to light up a cigarette, and the seagull came over and went like this. And the seagull took the cigarette and dropped it in the water and went. I swear to God, I got it on video, but I haven't been able to edit it down yet. So that video you will not see tonight. You'll see a sneak preview, but the video that I was hyping up for tonight is Jersey Shore stuff. You want to get an idea as far as like the people I hung out with growing up, Don Tony. When I always say that we were Jersey Shore before there was Jersey Shore. Here, I don't know if I have the photo handy. Let me see if I do. Do I have the personal pictures? DT personal. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Image. Yeah, that's better. DT personal. Let me see if I have one. Yeah, all right, here. See, because this is an infamous photo. You know, when we used to joke and, you know, like look, you got to remember, this is like early 90s. So Jersey Shore didn't come out until 2009, I believe. So, this is like almost 20 years early. And we're like, man, those fucking people in Jersey Shore, that's bullshit stuff. Like, we were Jersey Shore 15, 20 years before there was ever Jersey Shore. So now I got video so you could get an idea, not only what my friends were like, but you'll see me from 27 years ago. And you'll just hear the climate. I will warn you that when you see the video later, there are people who are inebriated. You do not see anybody doing any type of drug use on the video. You do not see anybody drinking. What you see is the after effects. And there's one girl, and the funny thing is that back then, a lot of people thought she was the freaking hottest girl in the neighborhood. And, I've always told the story that, one time I thought I had the opportunity that I could have maybe done something, but I chickened out and went home. So now you actually get to see some of that video proof. So it's going to be interesting to see your reaction to the Jersey Shore stuff. I think you'll get a good laugh out of it. But if you want to get an idea of what it was like, what we were doing before the internet, before social media, when everybody used to go out and do stuff, I'm going to show you right now a sneak peek. This is some of my actual camping video. Runs a couple of minutes, but it'll give you an idea, and you'll see me, and you'll see the stuff how we used to dress. And then I don't know why it's on this tape. And I must have done it by design 20 years ago. But on this tape, there is about 30 seconds of footage of me in a softball game hitting 2 home runs. And I think you will get a good laugh out of it when you see what I am wearing. I think I'm wearing a pink shirt. I kid you not. It's just in the middle of camping stuff, there's me hitting 2 home runs. So you'll get a good laugh out of it. So if you want a sneak peek of the camping stuff that's going to come, or if you don't want to see it, you just want to go do pee-pee for a couple of minutes, by all means. But here, if you want a little sample, you can check this out.
No way.
That is me.
Sure you don't want the stick? Fuck it. Yeah. Wait. Use the stick.
If you run across it really fast,
Wait, look, javelin.
you won't sink in.
Javelin.
Don't come this way, Craig.
Wait, look. Ken, javelin. Ken.
Shut up. I'm busy. You're very annoying.
That way. Watch.
Thanks.
The thing hit you.
It so hit me. What? It's all over me. Holy shit.
It did not.
Look at him, man. Look at that stomach. I look like I'm 9 months.
My footsteps.
Gonna give birth.
It's worse.
Amen. I do the giant stick and splash them all. I think I brought that up yesterday.
Ken, walk across, give me the camcorder, and walk back. Don't fall. Don't fall. Oh my God, there it is. The deep. Everybody's a pussy. Everybody's a pussy. I will.
Found what? You got a light?
Craig,
What's
What are you-
up, John?
what are you smoking, man?
Smoking.
My lungs are like fucking collapsing and you're smoking? My God. I can't even breathe and I don't smoke. Ken's definitely fiending cigarettes. Look,
This is my friend Kenny that died last year. My best friend I sang out with.
Put them on, man.
This is him with the goofy sunglasses.
Where'd you get those?
So much pressure.
Look at that shit. Those are styling. Those are fresh. Those are gazelles. It's like the Fat Boys all over again. Later.
Yeah, it is pretty weird that I was doing my hotline about 2-3 years later. Here's my home runs. Home run. No, it was out. They tried to make it seem like I only got a double. I almost had 3 home runs. Like my pink shirt? That's in the middle of the mountain. That's a lean-to. That's a shelter. That was built during the war. You had to hike to it. We hiked about 5 or 6 hours to get to that.
I must videotape my cigarette holder.
Yeah, I used to smoke. There I am. I'm going to turn this off in a second.
Look at the Blasey trying to start a fire. He'll never do it in a million years.
I'm trying to start a fire.
He thinks it's working, but it's not. Blas, is it working? I didn't start yet. You didn't start?
That plumber's ass.
That is weird. I don't know if you can get the full fucking picture. The fucking tunnel goes right up to the roof. Hasn't been opened. Ah! Holy reserves.
Yeah, that was in the middle of the mountains.
Oh, look at that soda.
Any bruise?
Soda, shovels.
Yeah, there's a hazing.
Dramatizing true life stories.
6:30 in the morning.
Produced in Chicago by Pacific Garden Mission. Probably the first thing the homeless notice about Pacific Garden Mission is the open door. Since 1877, when George and Sarah Clark opened their little storefront mission in one of the worst parts of downtown Chicago, the doors have never closed. Once inside, the street people notice many things. The warm welcome, the clean bed, the nourishing food. Everything is free. The mission even provides dental and medical care to those in need. More than 1,000 meals a day are served to people who are hungry for more than food. They're hungry for hope. They're ready to change their desperate circumstances. And Pacific Garden Mission offers that too. Counselors give them a key that unlocks their shackles, that leads to a new life. Now for broadcast around the earth,
Look at my tummy.
Blas. I'm up. I'm waiting for you to come down so we can play cards. I know you have the thing going on. Are we playing cards? Kenny's out like a line.
Who's up to me? I had that marshmallow, man. I'm like fucking sleeping, man. How do you get him straight?
You can't. The ranch is broken.
Give him a little dick.
Looks like he's checking off.
The girl has no dick.
So does that make you, boy? Makes me a big dick. You're dead! Can I light your feet on fire? Let me light your feet on fire.
No! The marshmallow's gonna. Could you move my stove? Move my stove, please. Thank you.
Look out, move. Move, hurry up.
Later, I'm not even burning this.
Move that. You have to move that. Hold it, bud. Hold the rope. Hold the rope. No, underneath. I'm gonna cut it underneath. No, cut.
We burned the marshmallow man.
I don't have to. I'll take care of him. I want to give him head.
I think it's enough.
All right?
Move, Craig. It's not going to come over here, believe me.
You're trying to blow things up.
Good God.
It might take a while, sir.
Epic fail.
You hear the song, Craig? Doctor, doctor, you're going to need one. I don't like that. Batteries are very dangerous. What do you hear? It's not going to do nothing. What does it do? It blows up? Yeah, it blows up.
I think it does blow up. Wait a second. Go ahead.
It's not going to do nothing. What's up? Later. Mine worked.
Watch what happens right after.
Wow. Must have been full. No, it wasn't even.
Fucking plane. All right, I think it's enough. We were blowing things up. Next thing, we're like 6 hours into the mountains. And next thing you know, this plane out of nowhere is like circling like right above us. We got scared shit, man. We got scared shit. So we got more. Like I said, there's 2 hours of that. But I just wanted you to see that's going to be coming in a few weeks. The Jersey Shore stuff now is more of, you want to get an idea of, my friends at the time and their personalities and some of the girls, the way they dressed, and you'll see why it's Jersey Shore. You'll see me playing volleyball as well. You'll see me play a little volleyball. So let's see. Let's take some more questions from the chat because we're already gone an hour. Yeah, somebody said it earlier. That some of that footage is from 93 and 94 that you saw. And then the Jersey Shore shit is from May of 95. Just think, a year later, I would have my car accident. And then 2 years later, I would have started my wrestling hotline. So when you see the Jersey Shore stuff, remember that only 2 years later, I started doing the wrestling hotline. And look at where we are now. That's how long this shit's been going on. All right. So shout out to everybody who is live, by the way. Shout out to Danhausen. This is Donhausen. Hey, how you doing? This is Donhausen Tony. All right. Will they ever bring back the old school ring posts? Maybe. Look, I don't think people are going to tune in simply because you're bringing back an old look. You know what I mean? They could do it for a nostalgic show, but I don't see it. I really don't. What a thrilling ride for me. I know, Mystery Man. Seriously, to think that in 2 weeks, this will be 25 years doing this stuff. 25 freaking years. It blows me away to think that it's been that long, And look, yes, if you really want to use dates, I am the OG. Meltzer has been doing it longer, but Meltzer did not have a radio show or a hotline back at that time. So I am the longest going with this. But, I will say that it is a little disappointing to see so many people today simply because of like jealousy and things like that they just don't want to associate. I mean, trust me, in 2022, you will see a lot of collaborating with yours truly. I've already talked to 3 shows, 3 different podcasts that we're going to be collaborating with. And I think some will be surprised it's to some of the people. And one of the first ones I want to do is with Kenny Bolin. Definitely want to do one with Kenny Bolin. Definitely would be interested to see how we, if politics are brought up, because we are on opposite sides of the spectrum. Shout out to White Wolfgang Gaming. White Wolfgang Gaming. Much love. Elijah. Harris Clark. Greg. Mystery Man. Mystery Meat. Oh, shit, Clark. My condolences, my friend. His dad passed away last Thursday of a massive heart attack after crashing his tractor. Oh, my God, 64. You know, last Thursday, I'm in a hospital getting my heart checked out also. Luckily, the news was mostly positive, but Clark, that's why I say, man, that's why I say earlier, I don't want to use Clark as to back up what I said earlier, but this is why if you are close with your family, or if you could truly say to yourself, man, I should be spending a little bit more time with my family. You never know what could happen. Seriously. You know how uncomfortable I feel late at night when my phone rings? 9 times out of 10, it's my fiance. She can't sleep. She wants to talk. But until I see the caller ID, when that phone rings after a certain hour, I get chills down my spine because I am petrified that I'm going to look at the caller ID and it's going to be my brother or one of my parents to tell me that something tragically happened. You know, or not tragically, but still. That's why it just, even though the holidays, I'm not feeling it this year, I got to spend it with family. Yeah. Yeah, Clark, my condolences, seriously. My condolences. Yeah. Wolfgang lost his abuela in 18 and lost his cousin this year. Elijah, does AEW need to chill with the main event openers? Oh, no, I have no problem with it at all. You know, AEW is changing the game with tag team wrestling. I think in a couple of years, I think trios, and before anybody tries to correct me, yes, the New Day have been the most successful since the Fabulous Freebirds to have trios in a title picture. But I do feel AEW needs to create the trios title in 2022. One of my strongest predictions for 2022 is that AEW will have a trios title. And I think in a few years, the trios title will be utilized by other feds just as much, if not more, than traditional tag team wrestling. Because you get to use 6 guys instead of 4. And I think that is going to be not the new norm, but I do believe that 3-on-3 tag team matches in a couple of years will be pretty much a common weekly thing in wrestling. So Wolfgang is asking, how does he join my crew? You're already a member of the crew. You just don't realize it yet. I just took this thing off because it is no longer cold. It's like 85 degrees. This thing is heavy. This thing is heavy. Hit somebody over the face, you'll break their teeth. But no, AEW having main event quality matches to start off a show, I have no issue with it. That's why I always got annoyed when people would complain when WWE would open up Raw. Oh, they're hot charting Raw. So? Oh, they're just trying. So? You know, what's the big deal? Back when I was a kid, the main events would happen halfway through the show. And then you would always close out the garden with a bullshit match or a midgets match or, you know, a novelty match. We would get main events halfway through the show. I have no problem with it. I'd rather get good matches and be placed in different parts of the card than to force a specific match to be the main event to close out the show, and the match is a little disappointing. My favorite 6-man tag match, well, there's been quite a few over the years. I mean, I would have to refresh my memory and look back. I mean, I used to love the Von Erichs. Roger Rubio with the run-in, the $5 run-in. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Yes, tomorrow I'm going to end the night with the rest of my coffee. Wow, it's bigger than Riddle's head. And I will open up tomorrow morning with coffee. Clark Herman with the 7 spot. Am I a fan of Bret Hart? He's the second favorite wrestler next to Steve Austin. He's from Alberta. One of the reasons why he's a fan of Bret. I love Bret. I absolutely am a big fan of Bret Hart. It bothers me to see so many people today that are more concerned about Bret Hart ripping Triple H, Bret Hart ripping Goldberg in his interviews instead of talking about how smooth and how polished. I mean, I always remember Wrestling with Shadows. Look at my punches. Every single one looks like they connect. You know, it's an art form to not hurt your opponent, not to be stiff. I mean, Bret Hart is just one of the greatest technical wrestlers that I have ever seen, and in my lifetime. And the thing with Bret Hart is, sure, other wrestlers may have been a little more flashy. Other wrestlers may have had a bigger arsenal, but Bret Hart was smooth as silk in all of his moveset. And one of my favorite matches of all time is Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. That match is phenomenal. So, no, I am a big fan of Bret Hart. And Bret's back here somewhere. Where is Bret? There he is. Oh, look. Right now, look. There's Bret and there's Steve Austin. There's your Austin. There's your Bret. There you go. I have them right next to each other for that reason. All right. Getting back to the trios, you know, I enjoyed the Freebirds and the Von Erichs, the energy, the storytelling, the magnitude. You know, I still laugh to this day when people, you know, will insist that the Shield or the New Day are like the greatest trios ever. You know, maybe individually, some of their careers ended up bigger and better than individual members of the Freebirds or even the Von Erichs. But you go back and you look at some of those buildings where, you know, if it sold out 20,000 people, you know that almost all 20,000 were there to see the Von Erichs beat the living shit out of the Freebirds. They were there for that match. So today it's a lot different. It's two different eras. I don't like comparing the eras, to be honest with you. But there's been some trios over the years. I would have to look back at Nitros and pay-per-views and TNA, and there's been more 6-man tag matches. I remember one with Andre the Giant, Jimmy Snuka, and I think it was Rocky Johnson versus Ray the Crippler Stevens, Magnificent Morocco, and someone else. I saw it live and in person. And that might be my favorite trios match ever. You know, it was just everybody that I loved in the match, and there was some big feuds going on at that time. So, yeah, Bret Hart, when he turned heel, Wrestling with Shadows is a film that every single wrestling fan needs to watch at least once. I mean, I have the original VHS tape in like mint condition that, yeah, I could probably sell on eBay, and I don't need to use a VCR anymore, even though I do. I have 2 VCRs in the room right now because earlier this week I digitally transferred some of the video that you saw tonight. But if you've never seen Bret Hart Wrestling with Shadows, watch it. And watch it within the next 6 days. And then when we do the next Q&A, come up here and tell me what you thought of it. I would not be surprised if you tell me, DT, I watched Wrestling with Shadows, and it was so good I watched it again right after it. It is that good. And it's pretty cool to go back and you see Vader out of his element a little bit. You see them setting up, that infamous Calgary Stampede match. It's if you have never seen Wrestling with Shadows, watch it. Some people have said to me over the years, which one did you like more, Wrestling with Shadows or Beyond the Mat? I have a Beyond the Mat poster over here somewhere. I was going to put it up the other day. I lean with Wrestling with Shadows a little bit more. But Beyond the Mat is another film. If you've never seen Beyond the Mat, that is one you need to see. But whenever they get to the moment where where The Rock hit Mankind with those chair shots, and they're playing the song Stand By Me, and Mick Foley's wife is hysterically crying in the crowd, I can't watch that segment. For some reason, I just can't watch it. I have to fast forward it. I just can't watch it. So, Wrestling with Shadows and Beyond the Mat, two films that if you have never seen, you will, even though I don't deserve it, but you will thank me beyond a shadow of a doubt. You will thank me tremendously for bringing it up. Yeah, Beyond the Mat was great. So we're going to start bringing this home soon because it is, we're only, 26 hours away from Christmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. So somebody asked what my plans are. I'm going to go to work for a couple of hours in the morning, and I'm going to come back here, get ready, and then go see my fiance's family during the day. Usually we stay at her house until midnight because they have that tradition. They don't open gifts until midnight. They don't exchange till midnight. But the thing is, with this Omicron floating around and some of her family members, I don't trust, to be extremely careful, especially since two of them has already had COVID. We're not staying there late. So we're going to go. I'm going over there tomorrow, probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Stay there for a few hours, come home, and then either go to my parents' house tomorrow night or first thing Christmas morning. Cerebral, Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. Just saying, he thinks he knows I can get as many viewers as I should be getting. Just saying, I'm fine. I am not. Listen, I've brought this up and I've actually showed screenshots. 85% of everybody who enjoys my shows access audio only. Sure, I show video, but most of the shows, even Monday, Wednesday, 95% of the show can be enjoyed audio only. That is one thing that I have worked on more than you realize over the last 6 months, that if, I can't take for granted, like one thing I made a mistake, because I'm only doing video now about a little less than 2 years. One mistake that I was making is I would put a picture on the screen and I would say, Mish, you see it? You see the picture? You see it? And I would never explain what the picture was totally. And people with audio only would get annoyed and be like, could you at least let us know what the picture is? And if someone really wants to see what I'm talking about, then they could hop on YouTube or Patreon or somewhere else and they could see the clip that I'm talking about, like the stuff I'm going to show you at the Jersey Shore shit. Those that are going to hear it, trust me, the audio only is just as great as the video, but some people out there may decide they want to see the video just to see some of the girls that are featured in here. Dude, are they as much of an airhead as they sound? But 85% of everybody who enjoys my shows access audio only. from iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Samsung, wherever it is. So, I know that the audience on YouTube is smaller. But overall, you add all of my numbers, it blows away about 95% of the shows out there. And I'm not one of those. Like, there are people out there that literally throw parties because they got, a certain number of followers on Twitter or on Facebook. Or, when we hit milestones on YouTube, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. Doing video is, a lot of work. But at the end of the day, if everybody tuning in enjoys the shows and they see that it's authentic and I'm not going to clickbait. I went back because last week I didn't do a show on Wednesday. I wanted to do a recap of Winter is Coming, but I had to go to the hospital. And I went back and I checked out a bunch of people's shows of Winter is Coming on video. And I was blown away at how many people clickbaited Bray Wyatt. They teased Wyndham, Bray Wyatt for like weeks. And I'm like, wow, nobody, and that's the thing that surprises me, nobody gets mad at those shows for clickbaiting. How would you feel if I, for two weeks, 3 weeks leading up to Winter is Coming, and all we talked about was Wyndham showing up at Winter is Coming, Wyndham. And I know deep in the back of my mind, I know deep down that I haven't heard anything about the guy showing up, but I'm throwing the idea out there. I'm throwing it out there and making it a big topic at hand. But meanwhile, I know that there is no buzz behind the scenes of him coming in, and then he doesn't show. How would you all feel? I can't believe that people don't get angry at that. That's fine with me. Doesn't gonna make me start doing it. So I'd rather just be straight up. It may not be as exciting, but like I said, if the best someone could come up with this year is, DT, you said that Scarlett was returning to straighten out Karrion Kross. You were wrong. No, I wasn't wrong. WWE changed their mind. And then when Killer Kross did his first Twitch, and Killer Kross said Scarlett was always hired to be a manager, and Scarlett was supposed to come back during his losing streak to straighten him out. And all I kept thinking to myself was, so I told everybody from day one, but it's not sexy. So Greg says when he hears Mish live with me on Mondays, his audio sounds smoother and cleaner than on the replays. Oh, I can't explain that. I honestly cannot explain that. That's probably more of a YouTube thing than anything else. We use similar equipment. I can't explain that. So, yeah, I can't explain others. Like I said, that was one of the things when I used to do shows with Kevin Castle. It wasn't like really a knock on him, but I don't think people understood how difficult it is to have a Rodecaster Pro mixer, to have a what is this? Something voice? What the hell is this? Electro voice mic and codecs running and everything like that. And then on the opposite side, it's a $10 headset. And it's very, very difficult to balance out that audio. I add bass to one channel. It makes me sound like who's that guy? Oh, not Lou Rawls. I can't remember the guy. You know what I'm talking about. I like it. It has to be similar equipment, and that was brutal, But the technical side is not easy. It's not easy. So Barry White, thank you, Kevin Milwaukee. That's what it is. Barry White. What's funny? Just a random thing. I have no idea what my wedding song is going to be. I was talking to my fiance about it a couple of days ago. I said, what's our wedding song? We don't have anything. The only song that, and I don't remember the song. I have to go back and I got to look at it. But there was a song playing in the background when I proposed, and she had suggested that song, and I forgot what the name of the song was, but I don't have a song. Just saying, I should have went to video 10 years ago. Mostly because I have so much video stuff and getting animated and being able to, when we tell a story, being able to show it, like, look, I don't want to bring up this asshole, but look at what Devin Nicholson, Blood Hunter, Hannibal did to that referee. You know, before video, I would only be able to talk about it. Now I could actually show the pictures of the aftermath, you know, his head and everything like that. So video complements everything else. Should have done it 10 years ago. I didn't do it for obvious reasons. You know, it's fine. But like I said, I don't care if 100% or 99% of everybody tunes in audio and only 1% video. As long as everybody enjoys the shows, at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. So that's why, like I say, you know, when people try to start wars with other shows, oh, that show gets 10 times more viewers. I'm like, really? Okay, maybe on YouTube. What about the audio only side of it? And then people are like, oh, yeah. And then the funny thing is, there's shows out there that don't do YouTube, that just do audio only. And the sad thing about it is some of those shows only get 50 viewers, listeners, 50. I've told the story about Roundtable Wrestling Radio, that they were interviewing Austin, Diamond Dallas Page, a whole Bischoff, I think, and others. And Mish and I, just for fun, would hack into the channel that they were using to stream. I don't remember what it was, Blog Talk Radio. I don't remember. And they had 6 listeners, 6. 4 of them were hosts. So, you know, when you see some people out there that do audio only, you know, you realize that they only got 50 listeners, where we average a couple of 100,000 a month. And I'm going to put any time, you know, in those people? No. There's somebody that I support, somebody that's good to me, you know, and their shows are decent. Of course, I would put the good word in for them. But there's a lot of people out there that do shows just to feel important, just to feel relevant, just to feel like they matter. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. If you get enjoyment out of it, absolutely. But there's a lot of people out there that try to make themselves like these huge, giant shows. And in actuality, 50. There was one show, I don't want to say what show it was, but it was a show that, no, I can't say because then it'll kind of reveal it. But we pulled stats, and the last episode they did, there was 61 total downloads. It sat out there for 2 weeks, 61. And this show comes off like one of the biggest shows on the net, 61. There is another young lady that has a podcast with wrestling, and I could leave that general because there's tons, and she is on YouTube, and she goes to everyone like she's one of the biggest shows out there. She's got, I don't want to say how many viewers because then people probably could figure it out if you start looking at channels, but she's got over 25,000 subscribers. She averages 200 viewers a show. 200. There's one show out there that has, I think, I don't want to give a number. I'll just go general. I'll say over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And, you know, unboxing the YouTube plaque and everything like that. And they average 400 to 450 views. They have no audio only option. And I remember Mish and I were talking about it recently, and Mish is like, well, they might have had a lot more viewers back in the day. And we went and we looked at their history, and how do you have 50,000, over 50,000? I don't want to say how much over, but how do you have over 50,000 subscribers and you only have 400 people? That's weird. Yeah, look, there's also another aspect of audio only. Less data. Not everybody can look at a video. Like Jim Cornette. I am now a fan of Jim Cornette's podcast, even though I disagree with a boatload of stuff he says. But he's audio only. He puts it on YouTube to make ad revenue, which is smart. But if you look at the YouTube, all it is a cartoon screenshot, a thumbnail, and that's it. That's the whole show. He is an audio only show. It is more convenient for a lot of people. There are shows that I listen to. I'm lounging in bed. I check out somebody's podcast, even if they're on video, and I'll just have my eyes closed and I'm just listening to it and enjoying it. And I don't have to watch the video side of it. Sean KB is asking, would I ever collaborate with Girl on Cinema? All right. Well, here's the thing. Girl on Cinema. Let me see who this is. Girl on Cinema. Because the other day, somebody brought up a person. I'm looking right now. Girl on Cinema. Honestly, I'm looking at a channel right now. Not familiar with her channel. If there was, listen, the other day, somebody brought up what someone wrote in a tweet. And, I commented on it. And then I looked after. And then I realized that the name that the person typed in the chat was different than the person who I thought it was. So, I went to the other person. I said, look, I apologize. I said, I mixed up your name with someone else. And I can't just go based on what somebody puts in the chat. Not saying that they're intentionally writing the wrong name, but some names, are similar. So as far as this person, obviously I would check. I'm looking at her channel. I've never seen her shows before. If there was a reason, like a common conversation or a debate, yeah, I would do it. Why wouldn't I? Like I said, I'm open to doing shows with others, being a guest on theirs. They want to come on here if there is a reason to do it, obviously. And yes, there are a couple of shows. Look, I guess I could say this. There is a show here in Long Island called Monty and the Pharaoh. And I am a big fan of their shows. I don't ever plug them all that much. And there's a reason why, but they do a phenomenal job. And they do video, and recently they had Baby Doll on, and I freaking loved her conversation. She is so down to earth. Her views, even political, some people may not like, but she's very, very straight up. And they do an awesome job. And their YouTube viewership is a lot different than watching it on, on other platforms or listening to it. But I had talked to one of the members, the partners. I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he said, we'd love to have you on. And I said, only if you come on my show, So they do a great job. I plugged them a few times on social media and others. And, I have no problem doing shows with others. It's just that, like I said, unfortunately, there's a lot of jealousy and there's a lot of hate. And me, I just look at it like, whatever. AEW coming to Queens, New York a couple of months ago was really eye-opening for yours truly. Because for the last couple of years, there's been quite a few people who do shows that have said to me, we got to get together. We got to have a beer. We got to have a drink. We got to go out, get something to eat. We got to hang out at a wrestling show. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Just saying 3,000 with the 25 spot, my friend. Merry Christmas, DT. Get rid of the banner. Trust me, I am on your side. You mean like this? You like this? I mean, obviously things will be a little disproportionate, but yeah, I mean, I'll leave the banner on for now, but there's no reason why I can't do that. I mean, maybe we could rotate back and forth, That's something that I want to play with when I have Mish on. I tried it on one episode about a month ago, that I would put Mish on the screen all by himself when he was in the middle of a discussion. And then I put myself. So that's something production-wise that I definitely want to improve on. But, yeah, we could do that. I mean, I have to adjust the camera a little bit also. But just to finish up what I was saying a few moments ago, hey, you know what? I actually, we had, yeah, do this. That's better. AEW is coming to Queens. And when we first found out they were coming to Queens, my immediate reaction on this show was, we're all going to get together. I originally looked into getting a skybox. And then I looked into getting a big block of tickets. I reached out to AEW, and just like with Chicago, I got 0 reply to 3 requests. So I get the message. All right, they can't stand me for some reason. Fine, no problem. I think that's just unprofessional, in my opinion. Even if they couldn't help me about getting a block of tickets, common courtesy is you send an email back and say, look, you have to go through the building, or Ticketmaster, or wherever else, or this and that, or whatever. But, a lot of people don't even know that story in Chicago. I had bought a plane ticket, and I reserved a hotel room for Chicago. I think it was for All Out a couple of years ago, the year before COVID. And I posted screenshots of my ticket and my hotel reservation. And I emailed them about getting a press pass. I said that I don't normally do interviews, but I think it would, be pretty cool since I'm coming to Chicago. I got no reply. So I sent the second email. I waited probably about 5-6 days after the first one. Sent the second email. I said, look, I'm just following up on my email dated so-and-so. I'm going to be flying into Chicago, and I, have my own show. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Got a pretty decent following, and I think my audience would absolutely enjoy maybe, having a few quick interviews. No response the second time. So I sent final request, and I said, I would appreciate it if you could, maybe I'm contacting the wrong person, even though I know it was the right person, because somebody in AEW that I'm friendly with that performs, not on a big scale, but still said, this is who you got to reach out to. And I know this person for over 15 years. So I reached out to that person, no replies to 3 requests. But someone else that does a show that is very heavily in favor of AEW contacted the same person. I know, because the person that does this show reached out to me after the first email and said, did you get a response? I said, no, I didn't get anything yet. At that time, that person didn't get a response either. Next thing I know, that person is at the event doing a couple of interviews. I'm like, look at this shit. So now they come to Queens and I contact them 3 times. I always do things in threes. Strike 1, strike 2, fuck you. That's how I do it. Even stuff did in the past when I was doing the Conan drive. I emailed WWE. I emailed TNA. See if they could send any memorabilia, anything that I could put towards this drive. WWE responded back, gave me some photos and some other things. NWA, TNA, no response whatsoever. Strike 1, strike 2, fuck you. So when it came to Queens and I got no reply from AEW, I'm like, all right, no problem. I'll just go, as a fan, hang out. Not one of those shows, not one of those podcasters that for the last 3-4 years, we got to get something to eat. We got to hang out. We got to get together. If we ever get together, we got to do something. We got to get drinks. We got to do this. Not one. And I said to myself, I'm not kissing anybody's ass. I didn't make the first step for most of them over those 4 years and said, hey, we got to get together. We got to do this. We got to do that. That's why it always made me laugh. When you see all the indie stuff that I did, the rest, even though it was not very good, you see all that indie stuff I did. One of the most annoying, and I'll be honest with you, one of the most annoying questions that I got over the years was, hey, how come, you and so-and-so don't ever get together? How come you and Mish don't ever get together? How come you and Kevin never meet up? How come you and Joey 924 never get together? And, Joey 924 and I met up 2 times. Mish and I ended up meeting up 2 times, but Mish lives in a different state, so it's different. But I've always said, wait a minute, I did the indie stuff from 2002 to 2008, 2009. I don't remember if it was 8 or 9. I did 70 events, and all of these hosts never showed up at one of them. What does that say? That says a lot. So when this AEW stuff did come into Queens, and not one of these shows, not one, sent me a DM and email something, hey, we're all going to get together. It's so you coming? Hey, we're all going to meet up at section blah, 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 blah. You coming? Yo, you going to AEW? Not one. And I was like, okay, no problem. No problem. So I didn't go. And I'm not, going to kiss ass to fit in with a group of people. I get the message. But, I give you this advice. If you ever start up a show, or maybe you have one now, and it's smaller, if you're having fun, just keep doing it. But if you ever start getting a nice fan base, getting noticed, get a good audience, be prepared to have people backstabbing you. Be prepared to have people setting up troll accounts just to put you down. Get used to people, because there's a lot of jealousy out there. You have to get used to that. Look at the Blue Wire stuff. Go on my Twitter right now, @DonTonyD. Look at the Blue Wire stuff. That was such a big deal for me because, number one, I am now on a network that only has 6 wrestling shows. And 4 of the 6 is Chris Van Vliet, Sam Roberts, Gallows and Anderson, Chavo Guerrero Jr. It looks almost comical that they have these elite shows on their network and they chose me to be a part of it as well. It is probably the biggest thing that happened to me doing this for 25 years, not including the wrestling stuff. I posted the announcement up. There's not even 100 likes on there. Not even 100 likes. Now, I don't care about likes. I mean, I've said this before. I don't care about likes. But someone could turn around and say, hey, everybody, I had stuffed crust pizza today for the first time, and it was amazing. And that'll get 150, 200 likes. Me, the biggest advancement, a couple of podcasts reached out and congrats, best of luck. And that was awesome. Not everybody's a dirtbag, everyone. I want to make that clear. Not everybody's a dirtbag. But that just showed me like, wow, the biggest advancement, even money-wise, being able to take in a nice little chunk of change that is going to help me pay off bills and pay off my wedding even more. And so many people went into hiding. You have to get used to that. That is something you really have to get used to. But Crazy Cruiserweight says the thumbnail needs to change. Yeah, the thumbnail will change. It will change. You know, right now we're getting to the end of the year. So there's a lot of things going on. You know, we got some little intros that are fun, even though some people don't like the guy's voice. Relax. But in 2022, I will work on, you know, like new thumbnails, some different intros, you know, some graphics. But, you know, I will do. See, one thing I definitely want to do, and I swear to you, it's not because of what Just Saying wrote in the super chat. But I swear to you, I will admit that I think this graphics are a little bit too big. You know whose graphics I like? SoFly, nobody's busting my balls tonight. No, they're giving me suggestions to make the shows even aesthetically look better. No, I don't ever take it as busting balls. You know whose graphics I love? Booker T. You ever see Booker T's Hall of Fame podcast? I don't remember his co-host. Remember, you ever see Booker T's? There's like a thin little freaking line of graphics around it. It's like 95% just them. Just a teeny little graphic. That's what I want. That's what I want. It's like just a border. And I'm like, wow, that actually looks pretty fucking good. Just Saying says that I am so money and I don't even know it. Don't sweat those guys. They can't make it. Look, I swear to God, I don't sweat it. We're family here. And the fact that I'm still be able to do this in my 25th year and just get that deal with Blue Wire and, you know, get some other opportunities and maybe going down in 2022, I know what I'm doing is the right thing. I know that I have the right people tuning in. I swear to you. I swear to you. I may get distracted sometimes. And I may not see what John Hinosa is writing, or Ken, or Mike, or Charlie, or Just Saying, or Psycho, or anyone else. I may not see every comment live. But I will tell you, and I swear this is not kissing ass, every single one of you that's tuning in right now, whether it's live or it's on a replay, even if you're just an occasional viewer, I will take all of you 1,000,000 times over than some of these other channels that all they do is fuck this, fuck that, fuck this, like have to kiss up, lick balls, kiss ass, pander, or the opposite. Fuck. This sucks. Life sucks. Politics sucks. My state sucks. The president sucks. The former president sucks worse. January 6th, August 6th, May 19th. Was that Kane? May 9th, May 19th, or whatever. You know, everything. The world's coming to an end. This sucks. This sucks. You're this. You're that. You're this. Because that's fun. I don't want that. You think I want? That was one of the things, and I brought this up before. That was one of the things that I was trying to avoid when I was starting to. Remember, I announced going video 8 months before we started. I announced it in like, maybe not 8, maybe 6 months. I announced it in June of the year before. And I said, starting January and going video. So there was like 6 to 7 months advance notice. One thing that people were telling me right off the bat is, DT, the trolling on YouTube is terrible. You're going to have so many trolls and haters and stirring up shit, fighting with other people on your chat room, that it's going to be really difficult. You better get moderators. You better get this. You better get that. And I said that I will not, and it's not being PC. Not everybody's angels in this chat room, but I'm not going to have this, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this, fuck you, fuck this. No. I want this to be a place where we can hang out, have some fun. Sure, we complain about things, we praise things, we laugh, but I want it to be a fun environment. And I don't want it to be fun simply because you're putting down everybody else. And that was very important to me. So I will always sacrifice toxic people, because trust me, over the years, it becomes tempting. It becomes very tempting. I mean, if you go back, one of the most popular years that I ever did this stuff was the year that I put down TNA so much that Bully Ray wanted to kick my ass in the middle of a ring. That I had people in TNA. I was one of 2 shows that TNA told people no one is ever allowed to go on these shows. I don't remember who the other show was. And I listened back to some of those shows, and some of what I said I'm not proud of, because at points it felt like that I was shitting on stuff just to shit on it. And I'm not saying that I wasn't authentic, but you get into this, all right, TNA sucks, everything sucks. And that was unfair to the wrestlers. And as years went by, I realized, Bully Ray was right. Other people were right. That was something that I changed. But to think that one of the biggest years of me ever doing this was the year that I just put down everything in TNA. It shows you that, yeah, if you want to be toxic and just take a side and just rip it to shreds, there is enough people out there that'll just, oh my God, count me in. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just laugh a little bit, poke fun, have some, laughs, be serious at times, be very real and raw at times. I don't know how many other shows out there get as raw as we do, about mental health, about depression, about other social issues. There's a lot of other people out there that won't even go near it, and I don't blame them. So I never changed my style. Hell no. All right, so it's now officially Christmas Eve. So we got to start wrapping this up. So I'm going to show you some video to start closing this out. For everybody that checks this show out on the replay, and I will be watching the chat room as this video is playing, I'm going to be really curious of your reactions to this. Now, listen, this is not staged. Nobody that was on video, or even me, whether narrator or anything else, we weren't doing anything over dramatic to make it more entertaining. What you're basically just going to watch, because everybody likes to see the vintage Don Tony stuff. Some of you want to get a little bit into my personal side to see, when I do the growing up Don Tony stuff, you want to see, what was DT like in the 80s, in the 90s? What was his style? How did he act? What was his friends like? Was he the person he always... So I'm going to show you about 10 minutes of footage from Memorial Day 1995 of me and my friends. We went camping at the Delaware Water Gap. Now, some of you out there already know the story. I said that while we were there were a couple of bear cubs that were like right in the tree right above where I camped out. So you'll see a couple of seconds, and I edited most of that out because it was kind of boring. But what you're going to see basically is just me hanging out with my friends. And you will just see, what we were like in the 90s. And when I say that, we were Jersey Shore before Jersey Shore, I think it comes across in this video. I think you'll get a kick out of everybody hanging out and eating chicken, and half of the people are wasted. There's nothing tremendously controversial on here. There's nothing that's going to get me in trouble. It's just an overall video that I think you would get a good laugh out of. I think some of you would probably enjoy it. Maybe some of you won't. But it's just a little insight of yours truly from about, 26 years ago, 27 years ago. And when I tell stories about me over the years, being able to find some of this old footage, I think backs up anything that I've ever told you about yours truly and the people. Yeah, there's one woman on here that I think some people were jealous because, I could have, how do I say it? I don't want to disrespect. I haven't talked to some of these people in 15 years, maybe more. So for all I know, they're married with kids, but, there was a little jealousy at that time that I could have scored with one in particular. And I think you'll see that come across on the video. But I think you'll get a good laugh just to see the personalities and how everybody was. Like I said, this is edited. So, because the original video is about 40 minutes long. This is 10 minutes. I think it gives you an overall idea. You will see me at times like playing like volleyball for a minute, just so you could see me. Most of the time, I'm doing the recording. But whenever they say Anthony or Blas, because that was my nickname. My last name is de Blasi. My nickname was Blas for short. Blasomania is running wild. That was in my yearbook for high school. So if you hear Anthony or hear Blas, that's me. So, all right. So here you go. We're going to go back in time, 27 years, Memorial Day, 1995, and get a little glimpse of what it was like to hang out with yours truly and some of my buddies. This is going to be interesting.
Chris. Oh, no. Chris, say hello. Auntie Kathy, say hello. And?
He can do this. I'm telling you, he can do this. He's got it.
Will he make it or won't he?
Come on.
Oh, shit, where is he? Okay, here he
Yo,
is.
he's good. Dino, cut it. Cut it. You got it. Come on. Come down all the way. You got it.
No, wait, don't just stop. Let's move that rock.
Let's move that rock. Hang out.
Emergency brake, Tino. No, tell him it's your emergency brake.
I got it.
I promise you it's not boring. This is just to start it up.
How are they going to get it back up? I don't know. I don't know to bring it down because you can go around all over the place. He-Man, look. Yeah, because he wants to drive fast. He-Man. He's got to wait until he gets out into the Delaware. Here's He-Man. Let's see who looks when I say He-Man.
Oh, by the way, that silver car is my car. That's the car I had the car accident with. That Pontiac you see on the left, that's my car.
Hulk Holster. Velo.
Right on top of the bone. You can't color your stuff.
What?
Anthony, you think?
What are you saying? Yeah, I'm going to stay a little while. Yeah. Why, you want to go, Val? Yeah.
No, I just make sure that he has it covered over there. He's hard to stop. I know.
Dad, can you bring the Western with you?
Good climate, huh?
Let's go, come on.
Yeah, let's all go.
That's cute.
All right, let's go. Yeah, before the mother shows up.
Yeah, starts bashing everybody.
I came walking over here. I heard something scratching.
See in the far right, you can see the bear. Look all the way to the right, 3 o'clock. See the bear hanging out?
Line of death, remember?
Who made that? Now the park rangers are looking for the parents. Where's the other one?
All right, now it should pick up.
There's one up there and one up a little bit more. Come here, you see it? See this tree right here? Then there's one up further.
Oh, look, he's thin.
I'll do that.
Yes, look.
All right, you'll see me in a second. Got the black T-shirt on and jeans. Yeah. Yeah, that's me with the black shirt and the jeans. Found a frog.
Yo, frogs make good soup. Anthony, frog soup. Low in calories, no fat. You took it home? Rotate. You ready? I only get one shit. 1-2 combination right here, kid. If we ever get the floor.
Alright, we don't be doing that pass.
It's the win. Hit the net, you get to the drive.
No, unless it goes over.
Rotate. Kathy. No, he's third. Yeah! 1-0.
This should finish up now.
Over here, pass it. 1-0. Oh. What? There's only one. We only have one. Come on, Dino. I got it.
I think the audio might be out of sync just a little.
Come on, tell me. I did. It's too bright?
No, good.
The girl on the left is the one.
In this one?
Yo, 2 Polish guys are driving down the road.
All right.
2 Polish guys are driving down the road. See a stop sign. The driver says, I can't stop. He goes, oh shit, don't worry about it. There's a stop sign coming up.
What the hell was that?
I got it.
2 Polish guys, I see a stop sign. Don't worry about it.
What's your key to the truck?
The one that looks like a donkey. How long do you have a license?
Yeah, you gotta jiggle.
What do you mean it doesn't? Turn it like a man. Jiggle it. When you come back, I want you to show me your jiggle. I wanna wiggle it. It won't turn. A little bit. It won't turn. Turn it like a goddamn man. God damn you.
Stop cursing. Oh, Dino, don't take my seat.
Yo, all the bottles
Look what you did.
I didn't do that. She did it.
Look what you did.
She did it.
Whoever spilled it. I didn't. You did it.
I'm not even drinking. That's why you got up and ran.
Nobody would have known that.
Flabbergasted.
It didn't hit the cards, though.
You did it.
I did it.
Yo,
do the other side. Come on, before he tumbles down.
Hey.
Anthony,
What?
why'd you want me to get you from the car?
Forget it, I got it. Having fun? What?
Open up the door.
You fucked up?
Open up the glove compartment and push the button.
Why couldn't you tell me that?
Because that opens the trunk. I'm the only one who knows how to do it.
Can we all?
I'm sorry that the audio is out of sync like a second or two. Like I said, I just put this online fast. So you just got to bear with it.
Why did you warn me though first? What about the mermaids? Does everybody need a pamper and motion?
Why we all just get along?
Snappy, man.
So who's whacked right now?
Okay, she snapped at me.
Who's bombed right now?
I gotta fix the chicken.
The little bomb?
You're not 21 yet.
But oh, you were yesterday because you were being a red yesterday.
We'll all go to jail.
All right,
Wait, okay, for what?
Oh, man. All right, Mrs.
Did you close everything up?
Give me that.
Did you lock the door so the bears don't get in? Where's my keys?
The chicken's here, put the camera away. Now,
Look, I got
now you gotta eat.
Wait, where's my light? Where's the light?
It's cold.
Look, I caught him. I said, where's the light?
Right now.
I can't believe you tried to steal it.
Shit, man.
Have some.
I ate 2 rolls the whole day. I'll eat the bones. Cold, frozen, I don't care.
You're gonna eat?
Yes, sit down.
I gave her money. I'm gonna eat
You're
something.
gonna eat? I love it!
I'm gonna eat, and I've been eating fat all night.
Is that because you're drunk?
I ate this. I ate this awful.
Is that because you drinking a lot?
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time.
Alcoholic,
Warning, corny music.
What's the matter with it? Val? What's the matter with it? What's the matter with it? I got the screen good. I'll tell you that much. Do you have any Malibu left?
Hey, me.
Tape you? Do you want me to tape?
I'm eating chicken. There's the first.
This is the crackhead that's always on Flushing Avenue.
I'm a crackhead. I drank a bottle.
And I'm eating chicken.
And I drank a bottle of whiskey tonight. What's my real name? I don't know. Where did I come from? Who are these people? Stop touching me. Don't touch me.
Are you taping?
Yes.
Taping. Look, are you taping?
Fat-free chicken, fried. It's fat-free.
Is it?
Okay, you don't have to tape me anymore.
Okay.
Tape up. Tape up. Look at me. I'm the cabbage dump.
You think that have chicken left, but chickens don't have left. They have little beaks like this.
I think the audio's in sync now.
Chicken. Speaking of chicken, look at this. From King Henry. You got sound on there? Listen to this. Oh, did you get that up,
I
Phil?
don't know, maybe.
Hold on. I think I shit my pants.
What's the fire, baby?
I don't know.
Is there any more chicken?
I don't know, but if there's a breast, if there's a chicken breast, I'll eat one.
You're not even old enough to smoke. Show us some ID.
Yeah, could you buy cigarettes? You can't even buy
Show us
cigarettes
ID.
yet.
We don't even know you. What's your last name? What's your social security number? You know why? Because you're crackhead hooker. That's why.
You're right. Why are you...
No, wait.
Oh, I see. You want the run?
Who,
Yeah. And I don't have a last name or a social
who's that porno star to
Are
begin
you
with
married?
Jennifer?
Don't you have children?
No.
Is there any porno stars to begin with Jennifer? Jennifer what?
See? The FBI's on to you.
I know. Baby, there's you. Okay.
Are your eyes bloodshot?
They're blue.
Her eyes are bloodshot.
Am I being ridiculous?
They're steaming over here. I got the whole fucking thing on film. I'm gonna send copies to everybody.
It's gonna be on
Did you hear Hut?
He's rubbing his...
Did you?
Get off!
He really is.
From back there? That far back?
I go both ways. No, he's rubbing it on me and talking to me.
I said from that
Coming
far
in my
back from
ear.
you. Did you hear her? She wants to do a wet t-shirt contest.
Who does?
She needs money for crack.
Yeah, because I got 4 files.
Jennifer? Jennifer, you said you're going to have a wet t-shirt contest?
I'm gonna be about this.
Sure, the camcorder goes
I
on.
said I'm wearing a white shirt.
And?
So I'm gonna do a wet t-shirt contest because it's raining. I was trying to do
No, so it's the girl's idea.
First prize is 3 vials.
3 vials of
3 vials of crack is first prize.
10 or nothing at all.
All right,
10.
3 vials.
Okay.
You're an addict. They're giving you 1 vial, you should be happy.
You call me junkie or chunky?
A chunky junkie.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing. I'm taking a sip. It's my right. You know that. If you weren't on crack, you would know my right. You got the right to...
Are you taping or
No, not right now.
Worried COVID gets a hold of this, we're in trouble.
I'm about to say, no!
Living room.
Ronnie! They do shows like that, like more times on Memorial Day weekend parties and stuff. I want to go on. Want to go on? And bring
I'll
on
go
videotape.
Good, they'll definitely put us on. With our videotape of our volleyball game, but that'll definitely go on the show. Do something fucked up.
I went to Pickle. I'll bite it off.
Yeah, but all you could see is her sitting down. That's it. You couldn't see anything.
I recorded her taking a leak. I had to edit it out.
Jennifer, all you see is you sitting down.
Anthony.
When did you go to the bathroom? I swear. They're all kidding around with you. I swear to God, they're only joking with you.
I'm not kidding.
They're fucking with you because you're bombed. I haven't left you. I've been playing cards the whole night.
You didn't pay me. Don't.
I swear on God. We're just fucking with you because you're whack. Val, you want to do me a favor? You going back to the tent? You want to put just one thing away from me? Just my CDs. No, I won't.
My CDs.
I fell asleep with it on. Oh. What? I know.
All right, I'm going to disconnect the rest of it. I had to edit out. I recorded her taking a leak and a few other things. There was a little bit of a wet t-shirt contest a little bit later. Like I said, I got this is just an overall, but just gives you an idea of what we were like in the 90s. Trust me, you see the whole thing, I think everybody would be like, these are Jersey Shore characters without a doubt. So, but I had to edit out a lot of it because I wasn't going to take the chance. I had to edit out any type of activities that led to the inebriation. That's why I put in the description, lots of inebriation and lots of fried chicken. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were camping, and yes, it was raining. I don't think it was planned that it was supposed to rain that night, but we had this giant freaking tent, but we were all in tents. I should have scored. Too much of a pussy on my part. So, yeah, no, down the line, I will play some of the other footage that I edited out, as long as I know that I'm not going to get in any trouble on YouTube with it. But that just gives you an idea. The ultimate, what is it? The, not the crown jewel, but what's that phrase that people use? I don't know, but the ultimate video, like I said, I don't know if I'll ever get my hands on it. The Holy Grail. Holy Grail. I have a video from 1990, and my friend Joey has this video since 1990. I lent it to him. He never gave it back to me. He swears to this day, I saw him about 6 months ago. He swears to this day that he has it at home in a box somewhere. If I ever get that tape, I promise you it will be the holy grail of any home movies you've ever seen. Like I said, we staged a fight in Dunkin' Donuts, and we just went behind the counter and ate tons of donuts. It looks almost like the shit you see now in California, to break and steal or whatever they do. We didn't break anything, but we staged a fist fight and a wrestling match. And we started going behind the counter, eating all the food, and the clerks ran away. There was no security camera footage. This was 1990. We were in front of this bar, and we caught my friend's mother cheating on my friend's father. We went to my friend's bodega. He was a Pakistani, and he would let us drink. And we were in the back playing Joker poker. There's so much illicit activity on this video that even is one part where the cops were called, and we got it on video. The cat stuff, like I told you the other day, the cat stuff I could show because, nobody ended up doing anything, but it's the holy grail. I've been wanting this tape for 30 years. And for some reason, my friend absolutely, I almost have to bribe him money to get the tape. So, all right, let's answer a couple more questions. We'll stay on for 10 more minutes. So if you have any wrestling stuff that you want me to get into, post it in the chat. But look, I know that video might have been a little bit on the dull side, except for the ending, but it gives you an idea of what we were doing in the 90s. I mean, I don't know anybody that does that anymore. And that's sad, because back then we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have internet. I mean, you had internet, but it wasn't anything like it is now. This is spring 1995. And God, 1990, there was nothing. So you just see how much things have changed over the years. Let's see. Why don't wrestlers use the gorilla press sound? I don't know. That's just their choice. I mean, I would love to see wrestlers go back a little bit more old school, especially wrestlers that are tremendously over. They're not going to sacrifice their popularity by bringing in some old school wrestling moves once in a while. I mean, look at MJF. He beat Darby Allin with a headlock takeover. I mean, that gets as old school as it gets, but obviously he had to do other antics to get to that point. So I don't have a favorite pole match. The only poles that I ever enjoyed were strippers on them. So let's see. Somebody asked Jericho the same question. What about the move? Like I said, I don't mind old school moves being brought back. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for them. I wish I had the answer. I don't know. Name a terrible faction based on who was in it, not how they were booked. I don't know. Spirit Squad. I mean, Dolph Ziggler ended up doing pretty damn well for himself. I hated the Spirit Squad. The Mean Street Posse, weren't pretty good in the ring. They were not very good in the ring. Mean Street Posse, I would say, probably the worst that I could remember. Let's see. The double axe handle off the top rope? Sure. I tell you, they do a lot of high spots outside the ring. You see Sting doing it, you get a little nervous. But most of the high spots they do outside the ring involves people catching them. I mean, even you see the shit that I would have to do once in a while. It was always involved catching somebody. It doesn't look like you're catching them, but Sting, what he did on Dynamite, that's FTR and MJF catching him. You don't see moves where you're just, other than maybe like the moonsault, there's not as many moves anymore that you just do an outside move without requiring people to catch you. And look, especially with pads outside the ring, there's a little sweat on those pads. You could dive off the top rope and land on the pad and totally slip and tear your leg up. So there's reasons why things aren't like they used to. It's for safety reasons also. Mike from New York, Breakfast Club or Footloose? Breakfast Club, all the way. I never liked, was it Kevin Bacon was the one in Footloose? I know, Footloose, pick up, get the fuck out of here. I never liked Footloose. Never. I didn't like the song either. Didn't Kenny Loggins make that song? Ugh. Larry C says this is not the original Sting. This is a newer, younger guy, and the real Steve Borden is locked away in a nursing home with Andy Kaufman and Elvis. Man, Andy Kaufman was taken away. I thought it was hilarious. Jerry Lawler the other day. You think Andy Kaufman should be in the WWE Hall of Fame? That should have happened 15 years ago, 10 years ago at minimum. Why is he even? Maybe that's a little hint that he's going in this, 2022. MVP Roman Reigns running away with it. Yeah, I really believe that. That doesn't mean that Bryan Danielson wasn't better in the ring. Doesn't mean that Kenny Omega wasn't better in the ring. But Roman Reigns, like I said, WWE, it's more character-driven, episodic television, which is what AEW is not. And that's fine because not everybody wants episodic, character-driven shows. But Roman Reigns, when you look at the value of that TV deal and how important he is for that show and how great his work has been and how he hasn't had to have crazy-ass matches and still draw like that. Yeah, Roman Reigns, I think, is the runaway MVP. Even if you don't like Roman Reigns, if you truly, look at wrestling unbiased to a degree, I think you have to give it to Roman Reigns. I don't even think it's close. Not a fan of musicals. I don't know if the EC3 faction will go anywhere. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. I'm not crapping on it. I kind of like the dynamic with him and Braun Strowman, but I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. So we're going to start bringing this home, everyone. Because remember, I will not be here Saturday night because it will be Christmas night, but I will be here Sunday. We will do a combination of the Don Tony show and a sit down, which means I will be taking some calls on Sunday. And the Don Tony show aspect of it, we'll get into any news that develops between today and Sunday. SmackDown is already recorded. I've already seen the spoilers. I'm not going to give anything away, but it doesn't look like a bad episode. But again, it's Christmas, so you should realize there's going to be a little bit of a Christmas theme to it. Rampage looks pretty solid as well, and that's airing on Christmas night at 9:00, which should help them a little bit with some ratings. I think everybody home, I think that will give them a decent number. So Fly, happy holidays to you, my friend. All the best. Devin, everybody. Eddy as well. Yeah. You could figure out who is not going to be brought back in AEW with their contracts. You know what's going to look, like I said, the one thing that angers me the most about reporting in 2021, the one particular topic that annoys me the most, anger is a little extreme. The topic that annoys me the most in 2021 is how nobody will elaborate on the AEW contracts. Now, there's different contracts in AEW. It's not just one-stop shop that they just put a different name on it. There's different tiers. But what annoys me is all of these websites, podcasters, reporters that know the truth and refuse to report it, that they will criticize Vince McMahon for all the releases, and deservingly so. Vince deserves the criticism. But then when Tony Khan says, I won't release anybody, I will just let contracts expire, the truth be told is, for some of these wrestlers, you don't wrestle, you don't get paid. So you can have someone under contract, don't use them, or maybe put them on just dark once or twice, and they get a little bit of chump change, and they get nothing. And nobody will expose that. It's not even exposing it. If it was if it wasn't a bad thing, they would have talked about it by now. But that is the truth. And some of these wrestlers that are not being used are getting paid next to nothing. So when their contracts come up, they will have to make a choice. They will have to make a choice. Do I re-sign with AEW, and if I'm not used, make nothing? I could still work other areas, but I get classified as an AEW wrestler. You know, having yourself classified as an AEW wrestler gives you some value. Absolutely gives you value. So in the case of Kip Sabian, I don't want to use Kip Sabian. Let's just use Kip Sabian as an example. In the case of Kip Sabian, if he's not going to be used until his contract is over, and he's really not getting paid much of anything, does he re-sign with AEW more in name only, and then maybe an opportunity does come up and he gets to work a little bit again? Or does he say, no, you know, I'm going to decline it right now, and then hope that maybe WWE or somebody else would pick him up? I want to see Brian Cage in WWE. I know a lot of people think, you know, that it wouldn't work. I'd rather see Brian Cage get a shot in WWE, even if WWE fucks it up. At least I know that he will be on TV a little bit. You know, how they're using him in AEW is just ridiculous. It's awful. You know, I forgot to bring this up yesterday. You expect to hear rumors of Moxley's return soon. Very soon. I forgot to bring it up on the show yesterday, but expect to start hearing the little rumblings that Moxley is going to be coming back soon. He is doing very, very well in rehab, and he's been spending a lot of quality time with his family, and he's getting very, very close to Moxley returning to the ring. He may actually return at a GCW event or another event even before AEW. Do not be surprised sometime in January that Moxley makes a surprise appearance at a wrestling show. That's what I heard from two different people that I trust. I don't want to make it as news because he is in rehab and he returns when he's ready. I don't want to put a particular time stamp on it, but I will tell you, expect to hear the rumors start coming out. You know, Lion brings up that Wardlow was in the Performance Center. Yeah, so, you know, it's not the right time for a lot of wrestlers. You know, like I said, about some of the other wrestlers that WWE let go. When you realize how many people they would have to leapfrog to get any type of a push, it's not the right time. It's not the right time, even for certain women's wrestlers. You realize you got to leapfrog 6, 7 women to get the possibility of a push or a title shot. I mean, that is very, very difficult to do. So that's why they trim down their roster so much. They don't want to have 10 women on the roster that are so far beneath everyone else and they got no opportunity other than getting squashed. So, yeah, we talked about it, Kevin, yesterday with MJF. Hopefully he's okay. That looked a little scary yesterday. Anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. We went a little bit longer. Yes, 20 minutes of it was non-wrestling video, but anybody that tunes into these shows on a weekly basis, we throw in that little bit of growing up Don Tony, which was an audio-only segment that I had featured on maybe like 10 shows a couple of years ago, and people loved it, telling the stories. So now I get the privilege of being able to retell some of those stories, but to show you some video to back it up. So give you a little idea of DT in the 90s. And trust me, when I put some more video up, it'll be a lot more interesting simply because it's very risky. Like, I have to be very careful to make sure that we do not see anybody doing anything illicit, which you could see the after effects, but you can't see the actual. So, even, the video I shot of that girl taking a leak, you don't see anything, but it is fucking hilarious. But because, you got to be really careful. So, everyone, have a great Christmas. But not everybody celebrates Christmas. So happy holidays to each and every one of you out there. Enjoy it. Be safe. I mean, everything that's going on with this Omicron is no joke. I know a few people personally who have been diagnosed with COVID, with Omicron. And it's crazy to see how fast this spread in a matter of a couple of weeks. But if anybody has been paying very close attention to it, especially with what's going on in South Africa, as quickly as the cases went up, they're going back down. So that is a positive sign that hopefully in a couple of weeks, this is almost like a bad flu. The hospitalization numbers are not going up. See, the thing that a lot of people, I think, forget is that, we do get 20, 30, 40,000 deaths, maybe in some years 50, 60,000 deaths a year from flu. If you have problems with your heart, problems with your lungs, if you're a diabetic, if you are heavy, if you have high blood pressure, going outside with a wet head of hair and you catch the flu could kill you. There's a lot of things that could kill you. So, you got to be careful. Whether it's COVID or non-COVID, you got to be careful. I have been very lucky. I have not caught COVID. I have not caught Omicron. I've been around people. I'm just very, very aware of my surroundings, and there's little things you can do. I was showing someone the other day that in my office, if I have somebody sitting by my desk, if somebody is sitting here, I purposely will look at my computer screen and talk to them while looking at my computer screen because my face is facing the computer, not them. And when they leave, I spray the air. Every so often, I'll wash my hands or put a little hand sanitizer on. That's what you do. If somebody's coughing up a storm or is sneezing up the joint, then obviously, I don't have them anywhere near my desk. Somebody walked in about 2 weeks ago coughing like crazy. And a couple of my customers that were in the office got nervous, really nervous. And I told the customer, I'm like, look, could you do me a small favor? I said, could you just sit over here? And he's like, I don't have COVID. I said, no, I know. But, it's just for everybody, just peace of mind. One of my customers went outside, pretended like he had a telephone call just to get away from this guy. But I wasn't taking no chances. Now, luckily, he didn't have COVID and nobody got it and I didn't get it. But you got to be careful. Look at your surroundings. You can spend time with family and friends and do it smart. I give a hug. I know this sounds ridiculous. I give a hug to someone. Sometimes I hold my breath while I give the hug. Oh, how you doing? You can't hold your breath for 5 seconds? I'm not kidding. Little things like that. You just don't want to make it obvious. You don't want to go up to your mom like, oh, hi, Mom. Merry Christmas. You don't want to do that. It's like, hey, Ma, Merry Christmas. I know it's ridiculous, but believe me, I think little things like that work. So anyway, I'm out of here. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you, as always, for your support. For everybody who sent in super chats as well, thank you very much for your generosity. It is very much appreciated. Believe me, I tell you, when you do 5 shows a week, sometimes it could get a little bit complicated as far as content topics. But when it comes to Thursdays, it's very down to earth. Just live chat, casual convo, a little bit of retro DT. And we just try to just have a little fun. Sundays we do some calls, which is great. We have some live chat as well. Mondays with Mish is mostly Raw and anything that transpires over the weekend. Tuesdays is Patreon, which has a total different theme to it. And remember, if you're a channel member here, you get the Patreon show that we do as well. I'll be uploading it tomorrow. And tomorrow, for our channel members here, I'm going to put up 2 contests. One is for an autographed photo of Steve Austin and The Undertaker, which I showed you on Monday. I got another treat as well. Once in a while, I get gifts and gifts to give away on the shows. Believe it or not, I am waiting from the WWE Performance Center. They're sending me, remember those 3 Mandy Rose photos that I gave away unsigned? The person that won it said, I had fun taking part in the contest. I don't want the photos. So what I did was I took those 3 photos. I sent it to the Performance Center. They have my email address. And I said, I would love it if you could ask Mandy Rose to sign them. I said, I will absolutely not sell them on eBay. I will give them away as prizes on my show. No purchase necessary. I got an email from somebody that works in the Performance Center saying that they received my package, that I will be receiving it shortly. So once I get it, I'll give them away. But I got from a very special someone, and it sucks because we talked about Monday about the concerns of the split. Because now we're fearing that Bobby Lashley and MVP may be splitting up soon. I have directly from WWE 2 photos signed by both Bobby Lashley and MVP. So one of those photos I will be giving away in a contest for our channel members. It might be guess the Rampage ratings contest. I'll post something in the community section here on Christmas Eve, but it's a cool photo. I don't have it. I have it inside. I didn't really take it out of it's still in the casing, but it's a photo of MVP and Lashley, and it's autographed by both of them, and it's straight from WWE. So, I want to thank the person who sent me that. Sent me 2. I thought I was only getting 1. I got 2. So, all right. So everyone have a great 2 viewers. What is he talking about? All right, everybody. I'm out of here. Good night. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. And I'll see you Sunday night at 8 o'clock, 8:05 to be exact. And, hey, if you're around Sunday night, call in. Let us know how your Christmas was. Did you get anything great from Santa? We don't need to know about, any bedtime stories, but if you got something pretty cool from Santa, let us know about it. So, all right, he meant Rampage with the 2 viewers. Rampage is going to get a good number. So, but all right, everybody, be well. Much love. Stay safe. Merry Christmas. And ciao.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.